AJ, will you get to the grief or the cause by staying with the emotion initially? How is it that you connect with the cause?
Firstly, remember with a lot of our emotions, there's two types of anger, and I've talked about anger before, but there's two types of anger. There's a type of anger which is denial anger, and that kind of anger is the time when you just stay in resentment. So for weeks on end, you just stay in the same resentment place. Now that's not the type of anger that will help you. The type of anger that will help you is more of a childlike type of anger, where you're just really angry about how mum or dad has treated you, and you go out and you get maybe a baseball bat. Well, what I do is I get a baseball bat with a punching bag and just start laying into it and swearing my head off, right? And just connecting with it, right? You'll find if you do that within a minute, usually what happens is you'll step into the grief. You can follow the anger, if you like, down the rabbit hole into the grief, or you can stay in this really resentful place. The resentful place, which is denial anger, is not going to help you at all. Yeah. So allow yourself to follow your fear or your anger into the grief state, and if you can't get to the grief state, there's usually only one reason why, and that is because you have an unwritten rule going on in your heart, and it's this one that is very popular unwritten rule: I will not cry. Right? Now, many of us have that rule inbuilt within us. Why? Because we were taught it from our parents.
Because we're men.
Because we're men. Yeah, for some that's just the reason, our sex, our gender. But most of the time it's because we were taught it. We were taught from our environment or our childhood, you are not allowed to cry. Crying is weak, crying is powerless, crying is surrender, and all of these other things we believe about it. But remember I said in a previous session that crying is the grieving emotion is the healing emotion. So you will have to, at some point, whether it be now or in the spirit world, cry. My suggestion is do it now, get over and done with. But many don't. Many wait till the spirit world and then find themselves having to do it there after 100 or a couple of 100 years of trying to shut it down.
What about if you start crying, you really can't stop and you don't even know what you're crying for?
That's really great. So the question was, what if you're crying and you don't know even why you're crying for and you just can't stop crying? My suggestion is don't stop crying, just keep crying. It doesn't matter what it's about, and there are many, many times in your life that you'll find when you connect with a causal emotion you will not know what it's about. Just stay in it until it's done. And you'll feel when it's done, usually a feeling of peace will overcome you, and you know whatever that was has now been gone, and you won't have to revisit that thing anyway. So rather than trying to work out intellectually what is happening, just allow the emotions to know, to go with the emotions.